let's get right into it for the Giants when they're on offense. Now, the biggest thing right off the bat, difference-wise, between week 2 and this week, will be the Giants will have a kicker.
Touche.
Just throwing that out there. We can actually kick the ball if we have to. So that'll be the big thing there. Daniel Jones, last matchup, 16 of 28, 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. That was one of only 3 games this year. I'm sorry, one of 3 games this year he's had 2 touchdowns on the season. Which, by the way, those 3 games with 2 touchdowns in each of those games account for all of his touchdowns in the entire year passing-wise. He's had 3 2-touchdown games. Doesn't make it very difficult to tell you the math there that there's been 8 games there. For 5 of those games, he has not thrown a single touchdown. Not a very good ratio. It's also one of 3 games he had under 60% completion at 57.1%. So threw a couple touchdowns, threw a whole lot of misses. And I remember this game very well. This was the game that they kept forcing the ball to Nabers nonstop.
Yep.
This was the game that DJ overthrew some deep throws to Nabers, to Slayton. This was a game that I remember you and I flipping out about to each other about the fact that just missed opportunities that Jones had because he just couldn't get the ball where he had to get it. Couldn't do it, point blank.
Nope.
So we also talked about in this game, obviously, Tyrone Tracy Jr. is not expected to play because of concussion protocol, as we mentioned earlier. Devin Singletary will be the starting running back. He should be the starting quarterback, probably over DJ, but it's like the end of the Bears game 2 years ago. Remember when Saquon was the quarterback?
Yeah, when DJ and
Still won that one. Still won that one. But yeah, Devin Singletary is going to be the starting running back in that game. So 16 carries, 95 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was his numbers last time. He was the starting running back then. This is before the Seahawks game when all of a sudden Tracy came on the scene. Now, 16 carries, 95 yards. That doesn't seem like a bad ratio overall. So you consider this. In that game, he had 3 decent runs. 1 massive run, a 43-yard one. That's the one he slid to avoid scoring the touchdown. He also had a 20. No, sorry. This one he slid was the Browns game. So it wasn't that one. He had a 43-yard of the running though against the Commanders. He had a 22-yard run and he had an 18-yard run. That totals 83 yards with those 3 runs. So that tells you the rest of the time was 13 carries for 12 yards.
But I said a lot of that game was about 1.4.
And remember that the whole entire game, it was like, what the hell? Like 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard. Like he stunk. And then all of a sudden he just had a couple of big runs towards the end of the game. And that's what makes his numbers look better than they were. His numbers were not good, guys.
No.
They were not. Those stats are totally overblown because he got that 1 massive run. You can just take out that 1 massive run and say 15 carries at that point for, what would it be, 53 yards. And that's an average day. It's not a great day, but 16 carries for 95 yards sounds really good.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully the Giants can open some holes for him and get some things rolling. Obviously, Eric Gray is probably going to get some snaps in this game as well. I would be very ecstatic, I'm sure, as Rob would, if Dante Turbo Miller got a couple of chances to run the ball because
Turbo time.
With him out, I mean, you got to think they're gonna bring him up to the active roster. They need to throw a running back.
You would hope so.
You would hope so. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he was brought up twice already with the injury to Singletary, which means he's already been called up twice in the practice squad, which means they have to sign him to the active roster.
So that's
Now, if you have to sign him to the active roster, you might as well use him and see if you want to actually keep him there, or if you want to drop him and risk losing him for the chance to put him back on the practice squad. I'd be curious to see him used more. I mean, by more, I mean at all. Just say it. At the very least, give him chances to return kicks because Eric Gray sucks at it. And yet we keep trotting him out there to do it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
At the very least, you can give him that opportunity. I just don't feel like the Giants are doing right by him right now. And maybe I'm crazy. It's not like I'm in there during practice. Obviously, the Giants get more time to see him than I do. But the rest of this year, it's about giving young players a chance to see what they can do. We've given Eric Gray plenty of chances to see what he can do on the kick return. We haven't given him a ton of chances necessarily on the running back side. He's been very good at screens. We haven't given much chance to the running back side, though. But yeah, I want to see some turbo. It's turbo time.
Yeah.
It's turbo
time.
Receiver wise, in that first game, Malik Nabers 10 receptions, 127 yards and a touchdown. Darius Slayton 2 for 33. Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton 3 for 33.
That's what I say.
Wan'Dale Robinson 2 for 18 and 1 touchdown. Not a single player had a receiving yard besides those three. Devin Singletary did have 1 catch, but it was for 0 yards. You can't play that way again. Like I said in the beginning, this was a game they were force feeding the ball to Nabers like you wouldn't believe, and he made a lot of nice plays in that. I remember there's a lot of plays that he would get the ball like 5 yards down the field on like a 3rd and 10, and have to go around, and all of a sudden how she stretch out to like 11, 12 yards and get that first down. There was a couple plays he had in that game. He did that. He also had the big drop towards the end though too. Can't not say that Paul Dottino get mad at me. Just kidding. I'm a stinker, but it's like
for the Yank fans out there, the Yankees just took the lead.
Did they?
Yep, 6-5.
But I mean, that's something we got to fix this time. We can't just be forcing the ball to Nabers. You got to throw the ball around. DJ's got to be more effective overall as a quarterback, because we stopped them a lot of times for field goals, and we'll get to the Commanders' offense a little bit. We stopped them a lot though for field goals, and they're a much better offense now than they were back then. This offense has to put points on the table to win.
Yes,
and that sounds like common sense, but
well,
we're not going to win by scoring 15 points, guys.
Yeah, when we've talked about playing the Commanders 7 times since we started this podcast, and it was easy enough to say we have to outplay them, because as silly as it sounds, like there wasn't much we had to do. But now you're talking about a team that might win this division.
Yep.
And has been playing really good offensive football. And they legit, like, people talk about how great the Cowboys are going to be this year, or how great the Eagles are going to be this year. But the Commanders are probably going to win this division. And they're probably going to win with like 9 or 10 wins. But like, that's besides the point. Like, their offense is putting up points. They're putting up points when it matters against good teams and being good teams. Granted, we also what happened with the Bears last week, and a silly Hail Mary wins the game. But
that's crazy.
Super crazy. But
super crazy.
But that's the same offense that we're going to play against. That's crazy Hail Mary. So
we can't score 18 points like we did week 2, guys. I mean, the other thing about it is, we lost the time possession in that game, big time. Our offense has got to stay on the field. Our offense has got to put touchdowns up. I know it sounds crazy, but touchdowns. We put 2 up in that game, but still, we need to put some touchdowns up. We need to get things rolling.
Yeah.
This has got a high-powered offense that we're facing. And when you face a high-powered offense, besides the fact you have to play good defense, your offense has to go ahead and help out the defense by putting points on the board. And we haven't been able to do that.
Well, that game is also what's the right word for it? It's crazy because we threw 3 we had scored 3 touchdowns in that game. No extra points.
Yeah, we kept going for 2.
Well, we went for 2 twice. We missed the 1 extra because of kicker play.
Well, it's Jamie Gillen is who they had doing it, if I'm right?
Yeah, the first one. But, like, I mean, that's the only time this year we scored 3 touchdowns.
How sad is that? Did we not do score 3 against the Seahawks?
No, you're right. We did.
We probably did. We got 29 points. I mean, I
Yeah,
remember
that
that off
makes
the top of my head. It's our best offensive game by far. No, DJ had. Let's see. DJ had 2 touchdowns.
We return one, right? One was the defensive.
And yeah, that's it's got to be a third touchdown for 29 points. Obviously, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I can go to the scoring summary real quick. Let's see. Wandale gets a pass for a touchdown, field goal. Slayton gets a touchdown pass thrown to him, field goal, and then, that's right. Bryce Ford Wheaton, remember?
Yeah, I was about to say.
There we go. That's what we're forgetting. So yeah, technically they haven't scored 3 touchdowns on offense besides that game.
Pretty much sums up the whole season thus far.
Yeah. And like I said, we can't against this team put up 18 points. Can't be done. Not gonna win. Not gonna happen. So, and there was nobody in particular on defense on their side that really did anything that spectacular. There was no star of the show on their side, and we put up 6 yards per play. We were 50% on third downs. We're 50% on fourth downs. We only got DJ sacked 1 time in the game. Obviously, this is pre-Andrew Thomas injury. Had a fumble loss, but no interceptions. It's not like you can sit there and say there were so many issues on this offense. We just couldn't get the job done points-wise. And that was the game that if we had a kicker, we would have won probably.
Yes.
Because there was 1, we would have gone for a field goal. There was 3 extra points we would have probably gotten at that point. That's, right there. That's you're talking about 6 points. We would have been up to 24 to 21 at that point.
Well, we would have been up 14-7 at one point, which would change the game and how the Commanders would have played the game.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's just crazy.
We talk with the extra point after missing the first one. Yeah.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.